probably the most exciting thing for me about this season is that for the first time, this group of disparate actors is a team. It's kind of like our, low key version of the Avengers.
Qual é a sua última lembrança? Eu vi uma coisa na nave.
Hi, Simon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Congratulations on Invasion. It's so good to be here talking to you about season 3. In terms of world building, Invasion is astounding and complex. The first 2 seasons introduce us to how the alien invasion unfolds on Earth through the perspective of 5 different characters. And now the stakes are even higher, and the fate of humanity is about to be defined, right? And I feel like this is the boldest season of Invasion in all of aspects: narrative, visual effects, and action sequences. So walk me through that and tell me, in which aspects did the show get bigger this season?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's definitely the most ambitious season we've ever had of the show, in terms of character, in terms of visual effects, in terms of action. In terms of character, it's the first time we've taken all of these parallel storylines that were taking place all over the world, right? And they're separate corners of the earth. And we take all those main characters and we smash them together. So they have to actually team up, and we're having all of our protagonists, all our main characters coming together for the first time. And that, was totally new to the show and required a different type of storytelling, and a lot of thought, because we've created these characters from really different backgrounds and dealing with different things emotionally and culturally. And suddenly they're forced together, and it was figuring out who would relate to who and who would conflict with who, and how to play that all out. Took an immense amount of design and thought, and work with the actors too. And that was really fun. I think that's probably the most exciting thing for me about this season, is that for the first time, this group of disparate actors is a team. It's kind of like our, low key version of the Avengers. Where, so, and then from a visual effects standpoint, we have a lot of elements this season that are much more sort of heavy science fiction than we had in previous seasons. We spent a lot of time inside the alien mothership, which is a really complex visual effect world to build. And then for the first time, we show what we call the apex aliens. They're the sentient aliens who are behind everything we've seen up to this point. They're like the mega aliens. And designing those aliens was the hardest thing we've done in this show by far. Took the most work. We had hundreds of artists. We had thousands of sketches and images and ideas over and over and over being iterated. We looked at everything from aliens and other movies, but really more to like organisms that live in our world and live in the ocean, for the way that they moved and for the translucency to be able to see through them. And then we came up with something that could be both scary and dangerous, but also kind of beautiful and ethereal and feel like it's kind of mesmerizing. And that just took a lot of work. I mean, creating a new alien takes a lot of work in general, but creating something that feels so different was the most painstaking thing we've done on the show. And then the battles, like there is just physical action and gunfire battles, unlike what we've done in previous seasons. And part of that is because, in addition to having new alien threat, we have human beings who are antagonists this season too. We have, human beings in the government. We have human beings in a sort of cult group. And so there's just a lot of conflict and different types of war going on.
I love that. I was going to ask you about the designs of the aliens. So thank you so much for already telling me that, because I do think they look so impressive. I do think the work you guys have done is so beautiful. And one of the things that I really love about Invasion is that it's very different from other alien TV shows / movies. And I see how important it is to you to make the show character driven on a global scale, showcasing characters from all over the world. So do you think that this is what makes the show stand out from other projects from the same genre?
Yeah, I do. I think that from the beginning for me, when I originally pitched this show to Apple. What I said was that it was a combination of War of the Worlds with the movie Babel, and that it would be equal parts. It would have big scale and spectacle and all that, but it would really be about real characters and their real lives dealing with real issues and problems. And I think that the idea of seeing an alien invasion or global invasion of any kind through the perspective of a few characters on the ground, real people, is unique to our show. And the way that I had always imagined these characters as constructed was that they themselves, before the alien invasion ever happened, feel alienated from the world. They feel like aliens in some way for different reasons, because they're far from home, because they're estranged in their marriage, because they're in a society that doesn't accept them, because they're just a nerdy kid in school. And so, yeah, that character first philosophy is something that we've really held to, and everybody has a lot of clarity around on the show.
I love that you mentioned Babel. I didn't know the TV show had like this kind of sort of inspo from Babel. Please tell me a little bit more, because I do think that movie is so iconic, and the way it treats, the way the world works, the way culture works, culture behaves. I love that movie so much, and we don't talk too much about that movie. So please tell me more of how much that movie inspired you with Invasion.
Yeah, I mean, I love that movie because it is so authentically in whatever culture it goes into. So any part of the world that it goes into, it doesn't feel like it's an American, and it's not an American filmmaker, but it doesn't feel like it's an American lens into that world. It feels like it really is authentic to different countries, different cultures, different ages, different situations. And I wanted to feel that real. I wanted to feel that it's almost like a documentary style in Babel. Our show doesn't have that documentary style, but hopefully it has a reality to the emotions that the characters are going through. And it was, and the other thing about Babel is it's much lower stakes. Obviously, there's no alien invasion or anything like that, but it's so high emotionally, like it's so intense emotionally, that movie. And I wanted to try to create that kind of intense emotion in the show that wouldn't have to rely on aliens only.
Esse tempo todo, tudo que eu queria era destruí-los. Talvez o tempo da humanidade tenha acabado. Talvez seja a vez deles. The world